Hi students, very good morning to one and all. Myself Maheshwari from CSC department. I belongs to MVR College of Engineering and Technology. I deal the subject operating system for 3rd BTech first semester. This is the class of 8th class. In this section, I discuss about what is process scheduling. The name itself process means whatever the program is in execution process that we can call as a process. Scheduling means it can given a slots for performing the process we can call as a scheduling. So those scheduling, how we characterize it, how it will be work, those are discussed in further slides. In this process scheduling, it having the policy and implementation, and most objectives are faster response time, high throughput, avoidance of process starvation. Here fast response time means whatever the process having to needed the resources, those resources will be respond to the process by using of scheduling. That is the fast response time and high throughput. So it having the turnaround time. If we given to the time slots, so which time it will be execute, it will be taken as a time around time. Okay, turn around time. Avoidance of process starvation. Here it will be avoided to conflicts by using of process starvation. And the context switching is expensive, so it has a snapshot of values of the general purpose memory management and other special registers. The context switching is very expensive and it will be used as memory management and other special registers. The types of schedulings. In these types of schedulings, here we can divide long term, medium term, short term. In long term, it performed when a new process is created, that we can call as a long term. So when it will be created a new process, that will be in the states will be changed, then after it will be executed. So the process is in lengthy, that's why we can call as a long term here. The discussion of add to port of the process to be executed. And medium term, whenever it occurring is swapping, we can call as a medium term. If the 2 or 3 processes is there, then whatever the resources they having the number of process, those are in swapping. So on that purpose we can call as a medium term. The decision to be added the number of process that are partially or fully in main memory. So based on the number of process, the decision will be taken or fully in main memory. Short term, which ready process to execute next, the decision as to which available process will be executed by the process. So here it is a very needed to the process to execute the next, so that we can call as a short term. In the short term, the decision which available process will be executed by the processor by using of first come first serve, round robin, shortest process, next shortest remaining time. Those all are the schedulings. We can discuss these schedulings in another class. See here, this is the scheduling and processing state transaction. See this picture, here are the number of states. Those states are in previous class I said the states, how many states are: new state, ready state, running state, waiting state and executed state. Here in process scheduling it can added some other states. Those are blocked, block suspended, ready suspended. These three are added to in this scheduling and process. See here, the new process will be generated by using of new state, that we can call as long term scheduling. Okay, and the new state will be used to ready. Okay, that ready state will be changed to running. Then in between the process, the scheduling will be in short term scheduling. If the process is ready and that ready state is suspended due to swapping, so that is medium scheduling. So whatever the process is ready suspended, that having the swapping problem, then it will be in running, then after it will be executed. So this running process is blocked, and that block is suspended in between for the process of it will be moved to ready state, then it will in running, then it will be moved to exit. Okay, the running is ready. The ready is ready suspended, then it will move to block suspended, then it moved to blocked. The blocked state will be change the running, then after the process will be exit. So all of you understand here, this see this picture, you can clearly understand. So the new process generated, and it will be in ready process, then we can call as long term scheduling. Ready to running state in between we can call as short term scheduling. Okay, and block suspended to block, it is also medium term, and ready suspended to ready, it is also a medium term. So here the three types of schedulings we can explain by using a process states. Okay, so transition scheduling and process transition. Queuing diagram of scheduling. See this picture, the batch of process are here. Okay, now let's decide that batch of process is in ready queue, that ready queue in process, then after it release. So it is the main concept. Okay, whatever the process, it will be fetched, it will be executed. Okay, so the new process will be fetched in ready queue, then the process will be released. If the process will be delayed by use of timeout, then it will be moved to ready queue by using of short term scheduling, then it release. Okay, and if the process is ready queue, that process is ready suspended or queue based on medium term scheduling, that will be moved to event occurs in batch jobs, again it will be moved to ready queue, then process, then release. Okay, if the process is ready suspended queue, those are in blocked in suspended queue, then it will be moved to block state, suspended queue state. Okay, then the block queue will releases the event occur, then it will be execute ready queue, then process, then release. If the process having the event wait for blocks queue, then it will be moved to event occurs, then it will be moved to ready queue, then the process, then after it will be moved to process, then it release. This is the queuing diagram for scheduling. If you understand here, again I repeat, here the batch jobs are there. Batch jobs, which is nothing but number of jobs, job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4, there are the number of jobs. In the jobs, job 1 will be in moved to ready queue, then in between batch jobs and ready queue, it have the long term scheduling. Okay, the main concept of our scheduling is whatever the jobs will be in ready queue, that ready queue will be transmit the processor, then processor will do the processing, then after it release. Okay, which is nothing but execute or exit. Okay, so here the ready queue having ready suspended queue, then it will be moved to the second module of ready suspended queue, then it will be moved to event occur, again it will be circulate ready queue, process, then release. If it is not if it is in blocked state, then it will be moved to block queue, then it will be event occurs, then it will move to ready queue, then process, then release. If the ready queue having the process, that process does not needed any event, if it is event wait, then it event occur, it will be moved to blocked queue, then event occurs, then it moved to ready queue, then after it will be in process, then it release. So each and every process will execute by using of processing, then it will be released. So fetch, execute, and release. These three concepts will be involved in queuing diagram for scheduling. Here, clock interrupt handling. In this clock interrupt, it is the second power failure of interrupt. The major failure in this scheduling is clock interrupt handling. It takes tasks, return the hardware clock, update the CPU usage statics, performs schedulers related functions, sends and CPU signal X CPU to the current process, update the time of day and other related clocks, handles callouts, so wake up system process, handle alarms. So the clock interrupt means here the whatever the hardware providing the clock, that will be returned. The major task is and update CPU usage statics, perform the scheduling related functions are, so whatever the scheduling time slots will be given, that those are followed by performing the related functions, and sends signaling of CPU to current process. So whatever the process will be in executed, so it perform the CPU given as a signal indicator, and update the time of day. So whatever the time related clocks having, it will be mostly generates update, handle callouts. So it will be callouts will also handles and wake up system process and handles alarms also. So this is the clock interrupt handling. What is meant by callouts? Callouts, which is nothing but records a function that the kernel must invoke at a later time. Okay, so records a function that kernel must invoke at a later time, that we can call as a callout. Here it will be calculated as int2 id equal to timeout of void into fn gathered average long delta. This is the formula. So void and timeout is into 2 id. The task is retransmission of new network brackets, certain schedulers and memory management functions, monitoring devices to avoid losing interrupts, pulling devices that do not support interrupts. Alarms. In this alarm, it will be in real-time alarm, proofing alarm, virtual time alarms. Real-time alarms are it related to actual elapsed time and notifies the process via signal alarm, those it is in signal. Okay, proofing is it is measured the amount of time the process has been executing and using the signal from notification. Okay, in virtual time alarm, the monitors only the time spent by the process, is user mode, and send the virtual signal by using of SIGVTL alarm LRM. Scheduling goals are: the scheduling must ensure that the system delivers accepted performance to each application. Different applications are interactive 50 to 150 ms and batch are scientific computations. Real time are time critical. These are the scheduling algorithms. Traditional Unix scheduling. In this traditional Unix scheduling, to improve responsible time of interactive users while ensuring that low poverty background jobs do not starve, it has the priority based user process in primitive kernel is strictly in non-primitive priority. So the name itself, it can do the priority. So in this priority, it can uses kernel 0 to 49 and user to 50 to 127. The process fields are P' means current scheduling priority, PUSR prime means process mode priority, user mode priority, P CPU means measure of recent CPU usage, P nice means user controllable nice factor. So these are the commands for using a process fields in priority is P PRI means current scheduling priority, PUSR PRI means user mode priority, P CPU means measure of recent CPU usage, P nice means user controllable nice factor. In this kernel it is sleeping priority. User priority, in this user priority depends only two factors. Those factors are nice and CPU. So in nice it have 0 to 39 and CPU's usage. It using time sharing equal opportunity and decay factor for SV3. Here SV3 means support vector regression opportunity. It is the 1 by 2 for 4.3 BST. Okay, here I can give the formulas. Decay will be calculated 2 into load average divided by 2 into load average plus 1. So again I repeat, the decay can be calculated 2 into load average by 2 into load average plus 1. Here the P priority CPU equal to P CPU into decay. So whatever the result having decay, that will be multiplied with the P CPU. Okay, PUSI USR PRI means here the user mode priority. It will be calculated as pressure plus P CPU minus CPU P CPU by priority CPU by 4 plus 2 into P nice. Okay, this is the formula. In this user mode it will be used as nice and CPU. Okay, it is a time sharing equal opportunity and it have the support vector regression of 3 version. It has 1 by 2 and its decay will be calculated as 2 into load average divided by 2 into load average plus 1. Priority CPU equal to priority CPU into decay. And next P user prior user mode priority equal to priority user plus P CPU divided by 4 plus P2 into P nice. See here the example, here P user equal to 50. Okay, in this P user it will be divided into 3 time slot, that is T1, T2 and T3, and having the processor P1 and P2. Here I take the example of P user priority equal to 110, P CPU equal to 80 in T1 slide, nice equal to 20. Okay, here I said the decay factor is 1 by 2 in 1 by 2 1 by 2. So the decay factor is 1 by 2. The user is 50 to 127. Here I can give the range of user is 50 to 127. That's why the decay time is 1 by 2. And see here time slot 2, P1 and P2. Here P user priority is 115 and P CPU is 100. Nice equal to 20. In P2, P user priority equal to 110, P CPU equal to 40 and nice equal to 25. Then decay is 30 to 127. Range in P user, that's why the decay will be equal to 1 by 2 by comparison of time 1, time 2, time 3 by based on process 1 to process 2 using of user mode CPU nice. This is the example. The decay will be calculated as 1 by 2 within the range of 50 to 127. Scheduler implementation. Why we use the scheduler implementation? Here 32 run queues are applicable by using of doubly linked list of process structure for runnable process, which queues are bit mask for each queue. 1 means there is a runnable process, if 0 means there is no runnable process. Okay, here we can add the switch based on the switch, if it is enable or disable runnable process, it will be calculated by using of contest switch by process adder. Okay, saving part of U area, which is nothing but PCB means process control block, and loading the saved context. Here the switch can do the same two operations. This is saving part of U area. U means current area, which is nothing but process control block, and loading the saved context. So here VAXFS and FFC are the special instructions contains switch signaling and controlling for the files. And run queue manipulation, here it can do two operations based on round robin and scheduling CPU. If round robin means for the process with the same priority, that is in round robin, so the time slots are same and it will be circulate to a round, the name that itself round, so the process within the same priority, it is a round robin. Scheduled CPU means recomputes the process once per second, removes the process for the runned queue, and recomputes the process, puts it back. The scheduling means, so it should have each and every one having the schedule once per second, and removes the process for run queue, recomputes the priority, puts him back. When the switch context will be used, the current process log on a resource or exits, the priority recomputation procedure result in the priority of another process becoming greater than that of the current one. That is flag run set. The priority recomputation procedure result into the priority of another process becoming greater than that of current one. The current process or an interrupt handler wake up a higher priority process when the process contains which contains the current process blocks on the resource or exits. So each and every priority recomputation procedure result into the priority of the another process becoming greater than that of the current one. Here the SVR4 scheduler will be used. This SVR schedule will be used to support vector recursion of 4 scheduler. Here the support of device range of applications including those requiring real-time response, and separate the scheduling policies for the mechanisms that implicit it provides application with greater control over the priority and scheduling, defining a schedule framework with a well-defined interface to the kernel, allows new scheduling policies to be added in a modular manner, and including dynamic loading of schedulers implementation. The limited in dispatch latency for time critical applications. So these are the SVR schedulers. So it mostly supports the device range of applications in a real-time response, and have the policy for the mechanism to implement. The SVR4 scheduler is a policy to implement in it, and it provides the greater control, and it defines the scheduling frameworks, and it allows the modular manner dynamic loading, and it has a limited dispatch latency. These are the features of SVR4 schedulers. See this picture here, the global class table is, and in this global class table the real-time class functions also allowed, and system class functions also allowed, and time sharing also allowed. Here the modules of global class table having the attributes are real-time, system, and time sharing. The real-time can and having the real-time class functions, system having the system class function, and time sharing having the time sharing class function, and it will be defined as real-time is RT init, and system is in SYS init, and time sharing is TS init. It has the initialization functions. So that in the left side it is initialization functions, and right side it has the class functions. So here each and every task having the process ID, process function, and classification of process. So each and every having the process structure of the modules, so it can do the classic dependent data. See here SVR4 are class dependent interface. So each and every class can be interface with the functions. So here so the time sharing having the class dependent, and real-time class functions having the class dependent. So those all are communicated to develop the SVR4 class dependent interface. Okay students, so what is process, which is nothing but program and execution that we can call as a process. Okay, the process having the states of 5 states. Those states are again I repeat: new, ready, running, and waiting, exit. So each state we can discuss in the previous class. So each process having the scheduling. If the number of process or if the number of jobs will be occur in a CPU at a time, then it have the browse time, then it will be complex will be occur. Any process does not exit for execution. So on the purpose here we can give the schedulings. So those schedulings will be depends on the long term, short term, and long term, short term, and medium term. The long term is new to ready state, we can call as long term, and ready suspended the state we can call as medium, and next ready to running state, it is a short term. So when it will be suspended, it will be swapped for the ready in process. If the resources are in swapped or if the process are swapped on that particular time, the ready process is suspended. So on that particular time, the schedule will be involved in medium term. Okay, whatever the new process will be created to a new and admitted to the running, then the process will be going in a long period. On that purpose we can call as a long term. Okay, so here the schedulings are used in for sometimes clock interrupts will occur. On the clock interrupts there are some clock callouts are occur, so alarms are used. So those all are based on the schedulings. So in these schedulings we can use it as a SVR3 and SVR4. So decay time, and it will be calculated to execution time. And in this SVR means support vector regression of 4 will be is the scheduler. It have the less accuracy time. So on the purpose, mostly present situations of operating system for process schedulings will be used as SVR4 to a class dependent interface. Thank you student. I hope all of you understand this class section.